Most packing advice these days pushes you to pack less, travel light, embrace the capsule, 1 bag, 10 pieces, endless combinations. Well, I prefer a different approach. What I've developed over the years of travel is what I call right-sized packing. You pack what you actually need to look and feel your best without artificial constraints and without excess. For my birthday last summer, I splurged and went to Porto Cervo, Italy, a week at a luxury resort with formal evenings and boat charters, tennis lessons, etc. And I packed 248 unique items between 1 medium-sized suitcase and 1 personal item, while still meeting weight requirements. Today, I'll show you how. Welcome back to Gracefully Lori. I'm Lori. If you're new here, this channel is for women who want to live authentically, express themselves with intention, and move through the world with quiet, modern grace. Today's video is built around a packing system I've been refining for years, my modular packing method based on right-sized packing. I'm going to walk you through the philosophy behind it, the system itself, and how I applied it to my luxury trip. You'll see every container, every category, and the final pack. I've put a complete item list in the description so you can use it as a reference when planning your own trip. So let's start with why I pack the way I do. 3 things shape every packing decision I make. The first is the trip itself. I map out my itinerary by activity each day and plan my outfits accordingly. When I know exactly what I need, I never pack things I won't wear. I also try to stay within a certain chosen color palette because a shared palette means pieces can mix more easily if it becomes necessary. The second is my relationship with luggage. I always budget for a checked bag. I'm 5 feet tall, so I don't want to hoist a heavy carry-on above my head or depend on the kindness of strangers to do it for me. Many argue that checked luggage can be delayed or lost, but across all of my travels, I have never had that happen, knock on wood. I'm also okay with leisurely managing the airport in my bag. It sets a relaxed tone for the trip. The third is how I want to feel on vacation. I invest significant time and money into my trips, so I want to savor every minute of them. That means bringing what I actually want to wear to feel my absolute best. In Porto Cervo, I felt fabulous. So, how does it work? I pack items into small, function-specific containers. Dental together, shower products together, facial care together, and so on. This accomplishes several things. First, unpacking becomes almost effortless. Each container goes directly to where it belongs. The shower container to the shower, the dental container to the sink, and so on. It also fills dead space in the suitcase. Small, flexible containers fit into irregular gaps between larger items, using space that would otherwise be wasted. There's another advantage most people don't think about. I keep my non-clothing kits packed between trips, so they need just a quick refresh. Replenishing anything running low, checking expiration dates, noted on my containers for ease, and swapping out items as needed. I'm much less likely to forget anything, and I save a lot of time. I always look for small, lightweight, and flexible containers. Rigid containers waste space. Heavy containers add weight. And flexible containers can't conform to irregular spaces. Most of my kits are clear containers, so the contents are immediately visible. For decanted products within a kit, the smaller bottles, containers, etc., I mark each one so I know exactly what's inside. Now, let's talk packing cubes. I use them primarily for the organization they provide. For a checked bag, compression cubes can significantly increase total weight, so I compress only when I know that weight won't be impacted much. I tend to use these only with light pieces that are either durable and/or bulky. Sometimes I won't compress at all, which gives me extra depth for certain items. For everything else, I use regular cubes. There's another advantage to packing cubes worth mentioning. I empty the cube directly into a drawer and place the empty cube beside it. As I use items, I return them to the cube. By the end of the trip, I've mostly repacked with clean and dirty clothing staying separate throughout. Organization going in, organization coming out, that's the modular method. Now, let me walk you through how this looks in practice. For your convenience, the full item list for every kit, including items I didn't take on this particular trip, is in the description for your future reference. So, my shower, facial, and hair kits. Because my skin is particularly dry and sometimes sensitive, I bring my own products. For my hair kit, I use mostly what my hairdresser recommends because my hair also has special needs, particularly around chlorine and salt. The remaining hair items are straightforward. The kit simply helps to maintain everything in one place. While I reduce my facial routine while traveling, I don't eliminate it. Since I use a topical medication that can increase dryness and sensitivity, managing my skin is very important. My Freshen Up kit. This one deserves a moment. I prefer overnight flights when possible since it's unproductive time. But arriving somewhere after a long overnight flight and trying to be presentable and energetic requires some preparation. I use this kit when getting ready to sleep so I can wash away the day, and about an hour before landing, so I can arrive feeling refreshed. One item I'll call out is the steam mask. Having a steam mask on for about 30 minutes or so helps relieve tension and calm the eyes ahead of resting for the night. For any long or overnight international journey, this kit is one of the most valuable things I pack. My dental kit. I keep this kit near the top of my suitcase so I can get to it quickly after settling in. A disposable toothbrush on the flight gets me through, but I want my electric toothbrush as soon as I arrive. Speaking of which, my electric toothbrush inadvertently didn't make it into the video, but I always pack it fully charged in my personal item. Medications. There are a few items worth noting. The BioFreeze stick is useful for muscle discomfort from walking or activity. The disposable thermometers, I was grateful I had them when I got sick on a trip to Belize earlier this year and needed to monitor my temperature. And the nasal stick, not necessarily for illness, but for clearing sinuses on the plane or managing those unpleasant odors we may encounter in transit. My laundry and clothing kit. There are two items worth calling out. The 3-in-1 lint remover and fabric shaver has separate heads for delicate fabrics and heavier ones, which is genuinely useful for keeping clothes looking their best mid-trip. And the clothing and body tape is more versatile than it sounds. Yes, I've used it to help garments lay correctly, as well as things like keeping hotel drapes closed when they don't quite meet. My skin protection and 2 makeup kits. For skin protection, what I take depends entirely on the destination. For Porto Cervo in July, it's sunny, hot, with mosquitoes in the evening. I took everything. Other trips get a more edited version. The makeup kits are divided into 2. One travels in my personal item with my travel brushes, mirror, and along with the makeup items I need on the plane and immediately upon arrival. The remaining makeup travels in my suitcase. One item I always keep in my personal bag is my perfume. Perfume is highly sensitive to temperature changes like in cargo holds. I decant into atomizers if I don't have travel sizes of the perfumes I want to take. For Porto Cervo, I took 3 perfumes. My safety, weather, and other essential kits. For safety, while the risk is minimal these days, an RFID blocking card turns a wallet into an RFID protected wallet, while a wallet tracking card, also card-sized, acts as a tracker for your wallet. There are numerous types of tracking devices in various forms with various capabilities, so we'll keep all of that for another video. For those who may be unaware, the personal safety alarm is a small device that you can carry or attach to your bag or pants loop. If you sense danger, you pull the loop and a loud alarm and strobing light activate immediately, drawing attention and deterring potential threats. For Porto Cervo, the 2 cards were sufficient. My weather items are forecast and destination dependent. For Porto Cervo in July, essentially no chance of rain. I took only the magnetic hat clip that you can attach to your handbag to hold your hat when not in use. For essentials, I have 2 types of mini tweezers and nail care, small enough to tuck anywhere. So, my 2 tech/gadget kits. This is where I want to spend a moment because I think tech is the most misunderstood category in packing. Most people know that different countries use different voltages. Most modern technology is dual voltage, so an adapter for the plug type is all you need if visiting a country with different voltage. Items like hair tools are often single voltage, however, and require both an adapter and a voltage converter. What most people don't think about is wattage, and this is what causes devices to charge slowly or have issues. Depending on the level of performance, smartphones can use up to about 45 watts, tablets up to about 65 watts, and mainstream laptops up to about 90 watts, with higher performance laptops reaching 150 or more. Every device has a wattage requirement, and your adapters, cords, and power bank all should meet or exceed the highest demand device you're carrying. Here's what most people miss. Wattage accumulates across devices charging simultaneously. If your adapter or power bank can't handle the combined wattage, it will slow charge one or more of your devices. Also, please make sure you know the wattage of each charging port on your adapter or plug. They are rarely the same, and it determines which device should be plugged in to each port. Minimally, I travel with my work phone, my personal phone, and my laptop. My universal travel adapter handles up to 100 watts, which means I can power my laptop and charge my phone simultaneously without delays. But it comes with the price of being larger and heavier than most of the other universal adapters. The same logic applies to cords. I buy 100-watt cords regardless of the device because you can always use a higher wattage cord with a lower wattage device, but that doesn't work well in reverse. For the power bank, if you're only traveling with phones, a small, compact, low wattage bank is sufficient. If you have a laptop, you need to look at larger wattage and a minimum mAh of 20,000. Mine handles 100 watts and 25,000 mAh, which is around the maximum TSA accepts without special permission. And again, this bank tends to be larger and heavier than other versions. For my second tech and gadget kit, I decide for each trip what I actually need. For example, the sound machine helps me sleep in urban hotels with a lot of ambient noise. The toothbrush charger I take for trips longer than 5 days. I almost always use my smart luggage tag, which acts like an AirTag. For Porto Cervo, I took the international adapter, the toothbrush charger, and the luggage tag. Small appliances. All of my appliances are dual voltage. My primary travel item is my combination hair straightener and curler. I also have a dual voltage steamer, though for Porto Cervo, I elected to use the hotel's paid pressing service instead. If you're traveling on a cruise, always verify what electrical items are permitted, since many prohibit items like steamers and irons. Backseat organizer and snacks. The organizer clips to the seat back pocket and holds everything I need during the flight, and often gets compliments from seatmates. It also keeps items out of the seat back pocket itself, which can be really dirty. For snacks, I take items like protein bars and nuts for the plane and for moments between meals. So here are the collections of kits ready to be packed. The clothing follows the same organizational logic as the kits. Everything grouped by function, packed deliberately. Nightwear, undergarments, and bras. Since nightwear and undergarments are lightweight, relatively durable, and worn only at the hotel, they were compressed. 1 pair of slippers was packed with the nightwear. I brought 5 bras, 3 regular, and 2 types of adhesive bras, all stored in a dust bag and stuffed into the crown of my 4 stacked hats. The hats keep their shape and no space is wasted. My swim, tennis, and casual wear. I specifically chose tennis outfits with built-in bras, which eliminates the need for 2 sports bras. This matters when you're working within a weight limit. Tennis shoes were packed in my suitcase separately. The casual wear was all folded and packed efficiently into 1 cube, including 2 pairs of slides. Dresses. 1 dress went into a compression cube because the volume of the skirt's multiple layers would consume an unreasonable amount of space without compression. 1 resort dress was packed separately from the rest due to space and was wrapped in tissue paper to avoid snags and color transfer when stored with the casual wear. So 3 pairs of shoes were packed separately. My accessories, hats, handbags, and jewelry. I took 2 belts, 2 scarves packed inside a small wallet, 3 hats, 3 handbags with 8 travel hangers tucked inside 2 of the handbags. These filled the interior to help the bags hold their shape, and the large water-friendly tote for the boat charter and beach days folds compactly, along with 3 pairs of sunglasses in their cases. Jewelry was organized into small pouches by type and formality. Jewelry stays with me in my personal bag. So most everything is organized. Now comes one of the most important decisions in the entire system. What goes where? I pack my suitcase in a deliberate sequence. Larger and bulkier items first, and then smaller cubes and containers. You can see how it works. The personal item isn't just overflow from the suitcase, it's a strategic companion to it. While it may seem odd, I often use a mobile office bag as my personal item. It has wheels, which means it can hold meaningful weight without me carrying it. It also fits under the seat. And it's organized enough to hold everything I need to access during the flight and immediately upon my arrival. Here's what always travels in my personal item for an overnight international trip. Medications, freshen up kit, backseat organizer, just in case outfit, jewelry, reduced makeup kit, reduced tech kit, socks, hairbrush, tissue, and travel pillow. I had a travel blanket that I can attach to my personal item if I believe I'll need it. When I weighed my suitcase, I was slightly overweight, so I shifted a few items to my personal bag until the weight was where I wanted it. That's the system working in real life. It doesn't always come together perfectly on the first packing try, but it doesn't have to. So, one medium suitcase, one personal item, 248 unique items, 323 total pieces. The point? A formal gown, tennis on a Sardinian court, boat charters, and beach days, dinners that required dressing properly, a week in one of the most beautiful places in the world, looking and feeling exactly the way I wanted to every single day, every moment. That's right-size packing. Not the smallest number of items, the right ones organized deliberately, distributed strategically, and packed with intention. So, which part of this system are you most likely to use? Or what have you been doing differently that works well for you? Please tell me in the comments. I'd love to know. And if you found this valuable, please consider liking the video and subscribing. It helps other women find content that might be meaningful for them too. Until next time, my graceful friends.